Thank you all for coming. Today we are dealing with the proposal for the revival of Maloney Gardens Community Council. The council was originally established sometime between 1984 and 1986. It's a unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Village and Community Councils, and the last AGM was May 11th, 2013. The AGM really is supposed to take place by the 31st of March 2013. So the council is now dissolved and we will be looking at issues pertaining to its recovery. This basically is the relationship between the Maloney Gardens community, the unit council, which would be the Maloney Gardens Community Council, the branch association of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Village and Community Council gives the directions to the unit council. The national executive does that as well to the branch association. There would be associates which would not be the village or community council, but interested groups and individuals, and of course the Ministry of Community Development, which we are all registered with. The persons of importance to the success of the council would be the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis, Member of Parliament for Arouca Maloney constituency and Minister of Planning and Development. The Honorable Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, Member of Parliament for St. Anne's East constituency and Minister of Community Development, Culture and the Arts. And of course, the person we deal with at this time would be the St. George East Community Development Officer, Ms. Alicia Mohammed. We take instructions from the Branch Association President, Ms. Priska Monica Ferguson. And of course, you have Councillor Stephen Sam of the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation, who is the local government representative for Mausaka Maloney Electoral District. So without these government officers, the Maloney Gardens Community Council really would not be able to function to the extent that we ought. Your work is your signature. Sign your name with excellence. John Quincy Adams says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. I love this prayer, and let me share it with you. Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born again to eternal life. Subscription and dues. An individual member of the village or community council shall pay an entrance fee of $3 and a monthly subscription of $1. A unit council shall pay to the respective branch association a registration fee of $50 and an annual subscription of $30. Affiliated groups shall pay to unit councils a registration fee of $50 and an annual subscription of $30. In practice, the Maloney Gardens Community Council collects an annual subscription of $12, but we also ask for a donation, a number of which you can afford. Dissolution of Council. The Village Community Council shall not be dissolved except with the consent of not less than 5/6 of the financial members present, and by voting by secret ballot at a special meeting called for the purpose. Notwithstanding the above, a village or community council that has not held its annual general meeting for 3 consecutive years shall be deemed to be dissolved. The mission statement. The mission of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Village or Community Councils is to be the main instrument and networking agency for all community groups in providing a greater sense of awareness and generally raising the standard of living of all the peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. Symbol of leadership. As an elected officer of the Maloney Gardens Community Council, you are a symbol of leadership, setting the atmosphere and tone of the organization. A good leader serves as an inspiration and provides guidance for those whom he or she represents. The minimum number of individual members required to form a village or community council shall be 25. The officers of the village community council shall be the president, vice president, secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, 2 trustees, public relations officer, education, training, and research officer, a welfare officer, and a youth officer. All these officers, together with 5 ordinary members, shall be elected at the annual general meeting of the council in each year. They shall hold office until the next annual general meeting and shall be eligible for re-election. Only financial members shall take part in the election, and there shall be 2 auditors who shall be appointed externally. When we are looking at helping the community, every community has individuals with spiritual, mental, and physical issues for which they would often seek help, including lifestyle diseases such as alcohol and other addictions, HIV and AIDS, depression, financial problems and unemployment, family problems, example, incest, abuse of spouses, children, and elderly relatives, literacy problems, insufficient training and education. And there are other problems like school violence, bullying and its effects on our children, influence on our children by neighborhood drug blocks, traffic congestion, indiscriminate use of firearms in residential areas, robberies, muggings, kidnapping and murders, and high cost of living, inclusive of housing and food. Working as a team. As a team, we must learn to work together. If we allow selfishness, anger, and other negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, we might find ourselves swallowed up by our own bitterness or sense of injustice. But if we can forgive someone who has hurt or angered us, we might both learn from the situation. It's unrealistic to expect everyone to behave exactly as we want them to at all times. So the strongest is the one who can forgive easily. Let us now look at the officers of the council and their responsibilities. The president shall preside at all meetings and shall be responsible for the proper conduct of business at these meetings. He or she shall have a deliberative and casting vote. He or she shall sign the minutes of each meeting at the time they were approved. He must approve all vouchers before payments are made by the treasurer. He shall superintend the general administration of the organization and secure the observance of and adhere to the approved rules and regulations. The Vice President. In the absence of the President, the Vice President shall perform all the duties of the President. He or she shall exercise all powers of and be subject to the same limitation imposed on the President. He shall perform such other duties as may be assigned to him or her. In the absence of the President and Vice President, members present shall elect by majority vote a chairman to take the chair. The Secretary shall carry out the directives of the Executive. He or she shall maintain a roll of the membership of the organization and such other books that a committee may direct. He or she shall attend all meetings, take minutes of the proceedings, notify all members of their acceptance, and generally conduct the correspondence of the council or association. He or she shall keep an inventory of all property belonging to the council or association, which inventory shall be updated periodically by the trustees. The Assistant Secretary shall assist the Secretary in all his or her duties. The Treasurer. The Secretary shall receive all monies of the Council, which shall be noted and handed over to the Treasurer, who shall issue orders for payment, which must be countersigned by the President before payment is made. He or she shall keep proper accounts of monies received and issue receipts for monies in his or her hands belonging to the Council until such time as he or she shall have lodged them with the bankers in the name of the Council. Such a period shall not exceed 48 hours. He or she shall submit for audit books, vouchers, etc., and the accounts of the Council when required. The Trustee. The trustees shall be responsible for the property, inclusive of community centers, vested in the organization. The trustees shall be responsible for the care, upkeep, and maintenance of such property, and giving an assessment of their condition as at the end of the financial year. The Public Relations Officer. The Public Relations Officer shall be responsible for publicizing the activities of the movement and maintaining a good public image at all times. Specifically, he or she shall maintain good relations with the media and ensure proper coverage of major activities staged by the movement. The Welfare Officer. The Welfare Officer shall be responsible for identifying cases in which persons may be socially dispossessed and spearhead relief activities for the well-being of the entire membership or communities. The Education, Training and Research Officer. The Education, Training and Research Officer shall be responsible for education, training, and research. The Youth Officer. The Youth Officer shall be responsible for attracting young people to the association, to introduce a youth perspective to all of the association's activities. He or she shall articulate the views of youth and develop programs to ensure youth participation at all levels. Registration and affiliation. The village community council shall be registered with the branch association operating in its area and shall be represented on this association by 3 of its members. It shall pay the appropriate registration fee and other dues and report to the branch association on a monthly basis on its activities. Organizations accepted as affiliates to the village community council shall pay an affiliation fee and an annual subscription fee as stipulated in the regulations. Unit councils and affiliated groups shall be certified by the Trinidad and Tobago Association and the branch, respectively. Community Development Division. All applications from unit councils to the Community Development Division for registration must have the approval of the appropriate branch association or would not be recognized as a member of the association. Annual subscription. The annual subscription fee must be paid by the unit council to the secretary of the branch association not later than the last day of March of each year. Any village community council whose subscription is in arrears for more than 3 months shall not be entitled to a voice in the branch association or any of its benefits. 50% of the registration fees and or annual subscriptions paid by units shall be paid to the Secretary of the National Executive by the respective branch association. The branch association. The branch association shall be responsible for the efficient operation of all village community councils and for conducting all affairs of the association within its particular area, subject to the dictates of the Constitution and in keeping with instructions from time to time by the Trinidad and Tobago Association. The branch association shall be comprised of 3 accredited representatives of each member council and shall be eligible for re-election to serve for a period of 1 year. Decisions of the branch association on interpretation of this constitution shall be binding unless rescinded by the National Council of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Village or Community Councils. Annual Convention. The Branch Association Annual Convention shall be held in the month of July in each year for the following purposes: to deal with any matter placed before it by the annual general meeting, to consider motions submitted by unit councils, the branch executives, and the branch association, to deal with matters that affect the efficiency and future of the branch association and the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Village or Community Councils, and to deal with matters that affect the interest and welfare of the various communities within the branch association. Thank you for viewing. You have been watching Proposals for the Revival of the Maloney Gardens Community Council.